Hi guys, it's Mike, Nick's Fencing and Garden. How you doing? I hope everyone's well. Now, it's just a really quick one because all the videos that I've done for this Friday I've either lost or deleted, one of them things, or it's been really wet and windy just recently. We've had quite a nice break in the weather, but I'm not going to waffle on about that too much. I've had a few questions about pricing and what should you charge. What do you need to earn is the easiest thing. Now, price is roughly about the same wherever I looked. I mean, I've looked for prices from people as much as an hour or two away. And they're pretty much the same as what I'm buying down here. So I'm going to base everything on what I pay. I'm not going to tell you a price because what is the point? Because what I earn or what I need to earn will be different to what other people need to earn. So it is basically the easiest thing I can say to people is work out how much it's going to cost you. So don't look at a webpage, say, without naming names, DIY.com. I won't say which shop that's come from. You can pretty much guess. If you look at their prices, they are pretty much smack bang in the middle of what I pay and then what somewhere like Wix charges. So they are smack bang in the middle, and because they're a national company, they tend to be pretty average across the country. So if you look at their page and you say to yourself, right, it's going to cost me X for the post, X for the post mix, and then if it is a wooden post, you will need nails. So ironmongery, it'll cost me X amount. Then you need to figure out how much it's going to cost you and time. So you pick that material up and get to the job. Now, I've known where I live to be a 45-minute journey just to get from where I live to the other side of town, especially if you catch it bloody wrong. It's a nightmare. So bear that in mind. And then you've actually got to physically do the job. Now, I replaced a couple of free posts yesterday. The first one went beautifully. I was in and out in about an hour. An hour, I think I was there, but just after 8:30, and I left just after 9:30. So we say an hour. But then the next two that I replaced, it took me 2 hours. Again, it's still an hour a post, but the work that went into it was a lot harder. I think the reason it took me an hour the first time was because the old boy was talking to me. So, price-wise, you need to physically know how much you need to earn, per day, or per week, or per month, to then work out your prices. Because I've been doing this a while, I've pretty much standardized how much it'll cost for somebody to have me come, take out their old fence and put in what I would call a standard fence, which is the concrete posts, concrete gravel boards, and then a 6x5 vertilat panel on it. The only variables that change are if they are extra mileages away from me, so it's extra travel time, or if when you get to some people's houses, they have let the ivy go mad and it's maybe 2 foot wide. So it just takes you that little bit longer to take it down, and it costs more to get rid of because, well, for me it does, because where I take my waste, it's all based on what it is and the weight. So it just costs that little bit more. So if you want to take anything away from this, the easiest probably way of working out how much it's going to cost you is to get out there and do it. You know, obviously look on that page that I told you to look on, or even just go to your own supplier's page and base it on what the customer could buy it on. So, you know, it's whatever for the post mix, nails, your time. Well, they're not going to give you the time, but the time. If you want to know how much it's going to cost you in the year, if you're only just starting, I'm basing this just for new people. I mean, if you're going to take anything away from this, because you've been doing this for so long, fair play, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of people will know a hell of a lot more than what I do. So if you need to know how much you are needing to earn either per day or per week or per month, you obviously got to take into account all your insurances like liability, van insurance, your MOT for your van, any repairs. Obviously you can't choose what breaks down in your van, but worst case scenario, it's going to be a couple of grand, so add that into it. And there's advertising, there's your fuel. Just think of absolutely anything that you can, that could go wrong, and what you have to physically pay for. Once you've found out everything, within reason, you're not going to know absolutely 100%, but if you get at least 90% of that, and then work it out how many months you work, and split it down between, say, 10 months, and then every 10 months is 4 weeks in a month, sometimes 5, and then obviously so many days per week that you work. And that's going to tell you how much you need to earn per day or per week or per month. And as long as all that's covered, anything after that is profit. Plus the tax. I hate the tax, man. Probably hate the VAT, man, even more if I earn that much. So yeah, like I said, I'm just going to keep this short and sweet. I could write a lot of things down, but I feel that if you based your prices on mine, you may even end up losing out, because at the end of the day, what I need to cover my mortgage is probably nowhere near what somebody down south would be. So you might need to charge 3 times as much as me. But if anybody is starting out and you need to know what to charge, just physically realise how much work is into it. And how much it's physically going to cost you. So just off the top of my head, B&Q or DIY.com, I shouldn't advertise that too much. The 4x4, which is 100 millimeters by 100 millimeters, wooden post, 2 foot, 2.4 meters, 8 foot. I think is £15. Their post mix is 6. And the 4-inch nails, I believe, for 250 grams is roughly about £4. So you're physically into this for £25 already. So you need to figure out on top what you want to earn. So it's a bit of a random video, but I just wanted to get it out there because, just asking someone what is the best to charge, nobody can give you a real answer, because what I need to earn and what you need to earn is probably a million miles away. For all I know, you might be some 17-year-old living with his mum, and you won't have a mortgage, you won't have the bills to pay, you just got lodge. So then that way you can probably charge what you want. So I hope this actually, I'm not really sure if it's going to help anybody, because I never really get a great deal of details. It was just me trying to get a video out there and explain why I physically cannot answer you with a definite answer, basically, because there's a hell of a lot of variables out there. When I go to price a job for, say, a front garden, I add 20% on top of what I would do for the back garden. Now, the only reason I do that is physically because I know that virtually, if not covers, the excess for my insurance. So working in front gardens, you have got services. So you've got electric, gas and water. If you are in a city, so that will basically cover if I go through one of those things, or the access for my insurance. It might not seem fair to some people, but it is just a way of me covering my back. I have physically said to somebody that complained about it because they asked for the front and the back garden, and that's why there was a difference. And all you can say to them is, okay, I can give you the 20% discount as long as nothing happens. And they were quite happy about that. There's also one thing I'd like to say as well. I've been doing this, I've actually been physically working fencing for probably over 20 years, but working on my own for probably about 15. And I've learned that rather than hurting yourself to get the job and probably not making any money or not even breaking even, it is easier to say no. you want a tip from me today, that is the best thing I can say to you. You just physically say, no, I'm sorry, I cannot do it for that. If you'd like to go ahead at that price, give me a call and physically walk away. You will find there is a lot of people out there that will say, oh, I can get it cheaper done from them. Have they physically got any evidence of that? Have they given them a quote? You know, that's another thing as well. If people say, oh, so-and-so will do it cheaper. Well, they may do, but do they use the same quality of wood? I mean, fencing, I've been to a few jobs that people have said, well, the guy before you was, say, £300 to £500 cheaper, or even 800 on one job. And I was like, but if you haven't got a written quote for me to try and beat them, I cannot do it. This is what I charge, because there are a lot, like I say, there's a lot of variables in business, full stop, but in fencing you can buy a panel from about £15 for a 6x5 all the way up to about 60. In softwood and oak goes way over the top, but then it lasts you 3 times as long, so it's not. So it's another thing. If somebody says, you know, we can get it done cheaper, they might be using cheaper products, they might be using wooden instead of concrete, anything like that. So there's another tip. If somebody says, I can get it done cheaper, you do one of two things. Either say, sorry, I can't do it for that, or ask for a written quote from that one person. That way you can look to see what you're up against. So, you know, if they're using, say, wooden 2x2s instead of 4x4s, 4x4 posts, there'll be a bit of a difference there. So you probably save yourself maybe a £5 a post. So yeah, I hope somebody takes something from this, of me waffling. I mean, it's 12 minutes. Jesus. I'm going to go. I've got to get some work done. It's Friday morning now. And I hope everyone has a good weekend and a good week. See you guys.